We've once again arrived at the end of another week, and the best part about it this time is that NBA basketball is officially underway with the preseason starting up. With this being said, as we have been doing on this channel for a few months now, at the end of every week, it's time for yet another episode of Your Take Not Mine, the series where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest basketball takes of the week, and then I select my favorite submissions to discuss in a video. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on my channel that looks like the one that you see now on your screen, so if you want to be included in a future episode, be sure to keep your eye out for that. Before we start though, it turns out about 68% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now, with that being said, let's begin. The first take we'll be discussing comes to us from Justin, and he says that the Houston Rockets, even without James Harden, are a playoff team as long as everyone stays healthy. This take is likely stemming from the fact that the Rockets' first preseason game happened where, admittedly, they looked really damn good, and James Harden was not playing in that game. John Wall looked quick and spry in his first appearance on an NBA court since his injury, DeMarcus Cousins showed out after all of his injuries, and all in all, the team blew out the Chicago Bulls by 20 points. There's been a lot of drama surrounding the Rockets team in recent weeks, with most of it stemming from the Westbrook for John Wall trade, the Harden rumors, and the questions about whether or not Harden will even come back. So for the team to look this impressive right away without him is without question a very strong sign for them moving forward, but at the same time you have to remember that it is only a preseason game. The main rotation barely played at all in very limited minutes, and preseason is always something you have to take with a grain of salt. The Rockets undoubtedly have talent, but a lot of their best players are guys coming back from serious injuries, and the level of competition for a playoff spot in the West is extremely tough. If Harden doesn't get traded, then they're definitely one of the best teams in the conference, but the original take that we're discussing said that they would still be a playoff team without Harden, and that's where I'm not quite sure. The Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Trailblazers, and Mavericks all seem like strong locks for the postseason this year, and without Harden, the Rockets would then have to beat out teams like the Suns, Warriors, Grizzlies, and Spurs for the last two spots. Harden is the X factor, and without him, that push becomes a lot harder. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Thunder, and he says that Kawhi Leonard will restore championship aspirations to the Clippers this season while also winning the regular season MVP. Now, this one was a bit loaded, so I'm only going to focus on the championship aspirations part of the take, as the MVP part is just pretty unrealistic. 2 years ago, Kawhi Leonard showed the world that he was truly amongst the best players in the league and is capable of putting a team on his back and leading them on a deep championship run in the playoffs when he was with the Raptors. He's a proven winner, a dominant two-way player, and can absolutely take over a game when it matters. But last season, the Clippers' season ended in disaster, and as a result, many people questioned everything from the top to the bottom of that organization. No, Kawhi is definitely not blameless for their collapse against the Nuggets, as his performance in that Game 7 elimination game was definitely not good enough whatsoever, but his resume still speaks for itself, and I do still believe in his ability to make the Clippers a contender. The competition is still going to be very tough, and the Lakers are still in their way in the conference, but with so many counting Kawhi and the Clippers out, it would not surprise me one bit to see them bounce back in a big way this season. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Hyperstrides, and he says that LiAngelo Ball will end up being the best Ball brother, and with everyone looking down on him, he'll be the most determined to improve as a player. I understand where he's coming from with this, because we have seen countless examples of players that were counted out use it as motivation to push themselves harder than ever before and improve their games in a big way. But despite that, I just don't think this is anywhere close to true regarding LiAngelo. Lonzo is is a genuinely good starting NBA player who brings solid defense and playmaking, while LaMelo just got taken 3rd overall in the draft and has the ability to run the offense at a high level as a shot creator and playmaker, and LiAngelo just doesn't have that kind of talent that will translate to NBA production. He signed an Exhibit 10 contract with the Detroit Pistons for the year, which was big news at the time, but the reality of players on those contracts is that they're basically just training camp deals that filter those players down to the G League once the regular season gets underway. And the warning signs for him are already there, seeing as he didn't even play in the Pistons' first preseason game. Jello is a very good shooter of the basketball, and for a player of his size, he's incredibly strong, but he's not the quickest, he's not the most creative offensive player, and defensively he's been known to struggle. So at the moment, his priority should be to impress down in the G League, then if that goes well, we can go from there. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from No Defense, and he says that the Indiana Pacers will miss the playoffs this year because of how many Eastern Conference teams improved around them while they did not. The Eastern Conference historically has been the weaker of the two conferences, but admittedly, the conference does seem to be much stronger on paper this season. Teams like the Bucks, Heat, Celtics, 76ers, Raptors, and Nets all seem like locks for the postseason, leaving 2 spots left, and after that, teams like the Wizards, Hawks, Pacers, Magic, and Bulls will all be fighting for those last 2 slots. The level of competition is going to be tough for the teams in that tier, and honestly, I can't say I disagree with this thought about the Pacers. Victor Oladipo doesn't seem happy there, and he very well could be traded, and I'm a very big fan of the acquisitions made by both the Wizards and the Hawks, with the Wizards having brought in Russell Westbrook, and the Hawks having surrounded Trae Young with productive veterans like Danilo Gallinari and Rajon Rondo, on top of the young core they already had established. Obviously, with players like TJ Warren, Domantas Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon, and Miles Turner, the Pacers still have a lot of talent that should be a playoff team, but I would not feel comfortable calling them a lock to make it at this point. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Nicholas, and he says that the Raptors will take a significant step back this year after losing Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka to free agency. With this topic, I definitely do agree that losing Gasol and Ibaka hurts, because they were very important pieces of their championship contention status as interior defenders and floor-spacing big men offensively. But what I think has gotten glossed over for the Raptors this offseason is that they did well bringing in a replacement big man in Aaron Baines, who over the last few seasons has provided steady interior defense while also rebounding strong and bullying other bigs down low. Additionally, the Raptors development team has done an excellent job getting the most out of big men coming through the ranks, and Chris Boucher has shown glimpses of potential to give the team good minutes off the bench, backing Baines up. Plus, the Raptors still have Kyle Lowry leading the way off of a good season. Siakam will be more comfortable as the go-to guy this season with 1 year under his belt doing so already, and OG Anunoby has gotten better and better each year as well. So while they definitely could regress a tiny bit this year, I still view them as a strong playoff team. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the topics discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.